Furthermore, the majority of Americans think the president made the right call to strike Syria. It all sounds good, but on the horizon are some crucial decisions facing the president with the future of world peace and security in the balance. In the wake of the missile strike on Syria, the administration maintains a position congressional approval was not needed.
I think Article 2 of the Constitution is pretty clear that when it's in the national interest of the country, the president has the full authority to act. He did that. He and his team spoke extensively to congressional leaders on both sides of the aisle that night to describe the action that's being taken forward. So I think we have fully fulfilled every obligation, but the power vested in Article 2 is very clear with the president's ability to act.
Some Americans are asking tonight, how far can the president go before being forced to seek congressional approval? The war on terror has drawn new guidelines for the commander-in-chief. Earlier today, I spoke with former Congressman Jim Moran of Virginia. Congressman, when does the president have to go to Congress and get approval to take more military action, or does he?
If the president decides that this airstrike was not a one-off, but in fact is going to be continued and escalated in a confrontation with Syria, then he will have to go to the Congress and get authorization for the use of military force. But it's up to the president.
There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of voices out of Capitol Hill right now that are telling the president to do that.
No, but the Constitution does. The president, I think, would be persuaded by people in his cabinet, and particularly the Republican leaders in the Congress, that if you want to escalate this confrontation with Syria, then you really need an authorization for the use of military force. So that was the conclusion that President Obama reached in 2013. He would have been denied that authorization, but I think that President Trump would probably be given that authorization for the use of military force in Syria if he were to seek it from the Congress today.
What about North Korea? We've got a carrier group steaming to the shores just off North Korea. Almost looks like we're setting up for a strike. Do you think the president would be able to do that without any consent of Congress?
I do, because the actions of Kim Jong-un are so erratic that there may be the need to act kind of extemporaneously on the part of the president. You don't know what he's going to do, but we do know that North Korea continues to improve its capacity to send missiles to other democratic republics, and that we think their ultimate objective is to reach the Pacific coast of the United States. So people in foreign affairs and in the defense establishment are aware of that. If Kim Jong-un was to take actions that might indicate that was a possibility, then I think the president would probably act pretty quickly, and I think the Congress would support him in that as well.
Whatever happened to the War Powers Act? Isn't Congress supposed to debate these kinds of things?
The Congress is also supposed to fund the government, and it has done neither. The Congress has two responsibilities and authorities. One is the power of the purse, which it has abdicated, at least for the last 7 years. And the second is to declare war, which it has also abdicated. Collectively, as a body, the Congress has shirked both responsibilities. And I was there. I could see that when President Obama asked for that authority to respond to Mr. Assad's chemical attacks back in 2013, 80% of the Congress would have been opposed to it. Now, politics being what it is, I suspect those numbers might be quite different today, that it would be approved.
What we're seeing then is that because of this fight on terrorism and the global threat, it seems like the guidelines have been changed for acceptance for the president to go use military force.
Some of that is policy, as you suggest, but a lot of it is politics as well. I think that the Republican Party would support President Trump if he wanted to use military force, even though they would not support President Obama in his attempt to seek authorization. I don't know that but President Trump would seek that authorization. I think most of the members of Congress would tell him he should, and I think that Secretary Mattis and National Security Council Director McMaster would suggest that he do the same, probably Tillerson as well, for that matter.